How many struggles do you face while completing your artwork? If your drawings came out just as planned, it must feel amazing. But for me, finishing a single piece involves facing numerous challenges. Until this point, I've aimed to hide my mistakes and only show the polished results. But now, I want to reveal how many trials and errors I go through to finish a single artwork. Hope you enjoy watching it. My journey begins with rough coloring. I try to let go of any pressure about form and instead focus on the vibe I want to convey. Imagining a cool summer night, I draw a scene of a working professional sitting and smoking. I draw freely, yet I carefully consider the composition and values for stability. For example, I think about how to add light to the drawing to make it look stable and aesthetic. Since the character's back and face receive significant light, I also add some small light to the left side of the screen to avoid it looking too empty. So I adjust the pose of the left hand to catch some light and also use the right hand to create small areas of light in the bottom section. Once I have the overall concept, I sketch it. I make the doughy face look more handsome and draw the hands and shirt wrinkles with attention to detail. Next comes the line work. I used to struggle with this part due to the fear of needing to correct it later, but nowadays I find that laying clean lines helps me progress faster, even if I need to make adjustment later. So I embrace this approach. Now on to coloring. I first aim to clearly define the areas of light. If I roughly divide them, even with adding a lot of details later on, the overall balance of the drawing might be disrupted. And while it's important to consider where the light would fall in this pose, I also believe it's acceptable to overlook realism to some extent for the sake of artistic direction. So I approach it with the mindset of using light to make the work look better. Then comes the challenge. I add the significant light, but figuring out how to color the shadow areas becomes a headache. So I try adding some faint reflected light along the shirt folds from the left side. It took a lot of effort, but I ended up erasing most of it later on. As I color, since the desired vibe isn't quite there, I find myself gradually adding more detail to the shirt, trying to make it work. But it actually made my work look worse. The same issue arises with the hair. With the intention of improving quality, I divide the light areas too intricately, which ends up making this work look cluttered. Anyway, despite all these hiccups, I managed to wrap up the first version. Ta-da! Honestly, at this stage, I don't think my work looks that bad. Though not entirely satisfied, I get so used to my drawing that I totally miss weird bits. However, after receiving feedback, I realized there are areas that need attention. Excessive reflections on the shirt and skin, the eyes being too close together, the mouth placed oddly, and the head being too large. So taking into account the feedback I received, I make adjustments to the drawing. When I simplify the parts where I had added too much detail, the work actually improves. I review my bad habits while modifying the picture and resolve to minimize such mistakes in the future. And there you have it, the finished artwork. If you take a quick look at the process, it goes something like this. Could you feel the struggles I went through to complete this single piece? If you find drawing too challenging, remember, you're not alone. And honestly, I've made far more errors in the past than what you've seen today. Let's look at it in a positive way though. In the age of AI, these trials and errors might just be proof of human thought processes and efforts. I also view them as something very natural on the path to improvement. I hope my video provides comfort to you. If you enjoyed this video, please leave a comment and subscribe to my channel. Thanks for watching. Now I'm off to work on my next project. Bye!